So this is my capstone project, and today we have Ms. Walters, and so restart.
You can cut it out. Just restart here.
Yeah.
3, 2.
Hello everyone. This is my capstone project. Today we have Ms. Walters here for our interview. In my sophomore year of high school, there was a shift between English teachers, and I was initially confused about the change. However, getting to know Ms. Walters, I came to really appreciate the advice that she would give us to class, and now as we move beyond to our high school careers. So please welcome Ms. Walters.
Thank you.
So Ms. Walters, I believe that you worked in third grade, correct? So what was that transition like for you, especially moving from high school to, elementary to high school?
I feel like the transition was pretty smooth. I have to tell you, I was a little concerned, so that made me prep a little bit more, just in terms of reading literature and trying to find books that would have people interested in learning, especially since I did know that you guys had just lost a teacher who you did love, right? And you're used to your own groove. So I can't replace anyone. I could just be myself. And I was hoping to bring in some like identity work and the things that were important to me as when I was a kid growing up, and even some things that my own high school English teacher had worked with or taught us. Those things still stay with me. So those are a lot of the things that I present to you guys. So the transition was smooth in terms of personalities for the most part. Upstairs, you guys are really wonderful. It's a kind group of human beings up here for the most part, and you guys help me a lot.
So another question I would say is, how do you think your curriculum helps kind of like balance that for prepping for students as well as beyond high school?
That's a great question specifically for me, and I would really want to know what you thought about that, because what's interesting is I teach 9, 10, 11, and their curriculum is scripted, right? And so I don't have any control really about the books that or the kind of lessons that we have. I get the most freedom this year in just the 12th grade curriculum. So putting that together, I think of you guys as my kids. Really, when I come into the room, I think about Tyler and Jody always. Tyler is why I say your name the way I do. I'm always thinking about my children, because I would want someone in front of my kids to treat them just the same. So I hope that the learning that I present helps in identity, so that you know who you are and you feel comfortable with who you are, regardless of the space that you're in. Because I feel like we take for granted just how close, just how many of us are around, and it's not so diverse. So even if you're in a diverse situation, maybe you're the only person, but you're okay because you know who you are in that space. So that identity work is important to me, so that when you are outside of high school and you are confronted with things that, at least from a literary or arts perspective, you've thought about some of this stuff, so it won't necessarily blindside you or be so new to you.
You speak of like this identity, and I guess another question I would have for you is, how would you define your Highville experience, and what does that look like to you as an educator?
So I've taught at several schools, and so in most times I've stayed at schools for 2 years. The first school is kind of where I got my certification. I left there, and then I went to another school, and I kind of refined, left there, went to another school, and then I was actually courted to come here, so kind of poached from a different position that I'd seen myself staying in for a long term. I wasn't quite sure how long I would be here at Highville, because I didn't really know what to expect, because I hadn't done like too much background knowledge on the school or background research on the school. Coming here, the amount of love and sincerity that's inside of this building with faculty, the staff, and students is something that keeps me coming back every day and then every year. I feel appreciated and loved by my students, and I feel appreciated and loved by my peers. I love my peers. And I really feel incredibly supported by Miss Smith. And so with those things together, it helps me to feel like I can be my best person, my best self, and I hope that I am presenting my best self to you.
All right, and for the last question that we have here is, what was your most rewarding moment in teaching? It could be from high school, or it could be from
I'm most proud of History in Color. History in Color is a curriculum that I wrote. It's from pre-K and it's expanded to 8th grade. There are many moments that make me proud, but I think maybe my greatest moment would have to have been watching, it was a couple of years ago, watching like the preschoolers and then the first graders and the second graders. They were inside of the cafeteria for dismissal, and we had done a lesson on our African origins. So they learned about West Africa. They learned about the skills that came out of there. They learned about the beauty that came out of there, and then they created headbands. So being in a cafeteria with kids who had just learned that lesson, it makes me want to cry. It's just really overwhelming. And seeing their work, right, and the fact that they were exposed to understand that they do come from greatness, right? We were enslaved, but we were enslaved for a purpose and a reason. Our people are awesome, wonderful, and talented. So that was my favorite moment.
Thank you, and this is how we'll end it off. Cut.